Hang on. Right, Brendan, is this your book?
This is my book.
What's it called?
It's called Haunted Pubs and Other Strange Places of Helston, Port Leven and the Lizard.
Is this all the pubs you've haunted?
They are mostly haunted by the daytime drinkers, that is true. But in this case, I'm an elderly Irish lady by the name of Anne O'Malley.
Anne O'Malley?
Yeah.
Why have you got a nom de plume?
Because one of my favourite people in history is Grace O'Malley, the Irish pirate.
Right.
Who is famous for getting back on deck half an hour after giving birth and carrying on a pirating.
Really? Where was that?
That's on the west coast of Ireland. She was mates with Elizabeth I, actually. So.
Oh, going back to what, 1600?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But also, if you say Anne O'Malley the right way, it's anomaly.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
That's
Cryptic.
Yeah, it's cryptic. It's cost me about £50,000 this booklet so far.
What?
In
What's
drink.
That, buying drinks?
In drink. I'll take the glasses off a minute.
So how many of these did you publish?
Oh, it's not a the print, basically. I got them printed in Truro. I do 500 at a time.
Yeah. How did you know these pubs were haunted?
I went round them and I haunted them myself. And then most people go in to a pub and say, have you got any doom bar? And I go into a pub and say, have you got any ghosts?
Right.
And then they go, well, I've been waiting years for someone to ask that question, to be fair.
Do you think they make it up?
No, well, I only write down what they say. Everything that's written down in here has been told to me by somebody else.
Right.
Or another source. So I didn't make any of this up myself.
Okay.
They might have made it up. I went into one pub in Penzance, thinking about doing a Penzance one. I said, have you got any ghosts? And the barmaid went, no, we haven't got any ghosts. And I can say that with some authority because I'm a witch.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you got a witch, which is even worse.
But
Apparently the Benbow, the Admiral Benbow.
the Admiral Benbow, yeah. No, that's haunted.
hang on a minute.
Stolen.
Because the photograph that Paddy took of you, you were in the sea in your tweed suit, was it?
Yeah.
And look what.
Well,
It's a book you
tweed jacket, waistcoat, and corduroy trousers. It's good old Irish farmer's outfit idea.
There we are.
Rather than Stalin's Englishman.
Synchronicity there.
I'm actually more of an anarchist than a Stalinist, I have to say. But very weird to find out in the bus stop in Gunwallow.
I'm surprised someone gave that away because I was going to buy that book.
Well, you can borrow it if you want.
Yeah. Have
I
you
think
read
it's
it?
only £1.
£1.
I haven't read it yet, no, but I picked it up largely
Well,
for
you
the
read it
photo.
first and then give it to me because that's on my list of books to read.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Well,
Yeah.
give us a shout when you're ready to read it, and
I'm
I'll
a
just
bit
pass it on
obsessed
to
with the
Paddy.
Burgess McLean filming.
Yeah.
I did a documentary film called Zennor Spirit of Place along with Diane Taylor, a Newlyn documentary filmmaker, and that was based on the research in my book.
Right.
And we went up on the moors and we needed someone to play Aleister Crowley because the guy that played D.H. Lawrence was my electrician. We didn't even know who D.H. Lawrence was, which is perfect. The woman that played Frieda von Richthofen was spotted in a charity shop in Newlyn, and she had the right kind of physical appearance, so she was selected. And guess who played Aleister Crowley?
Just the man.
There we are.
Yeah, that was
The
me.
wickedest man in the world, aka Chief.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was no dialogue because Aleister Crowley didn't have a Brummy accent.
No.
He was from Midlands, though. He was from,
He was.
He was actually from,
He was, but he spoke.
Leamington Spa.
spoke the
Oh,
Queen's
was he
English.
Leamington? Yeah.
No, he was a terrible old fucking snob.
He was, yeah.
So there we are. We are sitting next to the reincarnation of Aleister
Oh,
Crowley.
But what you'll find in your book is that the woman who
Kept the children's home. You remember her? She's Le Comte or something or other. She was Aleister Crowley's teenage Cornish mistress.
Oh no, that's Pat Doherty.
Pat Doherty.
Yeah, no,
that's
I know
right.
all about her.
Well, she was my ex's, Demelza Whitley's godmother.
Really?
Yeah.
Because she lived in Thomas Gotch's old house and
Right.
with Deirdre McClellan.
Right.
And so yeah, I did a lot of research on her, and I tracked her career afterwards in Cairo as a cipher spy. She was a psychic spy. Yeah.
Drink to that.
Yeah.
Well, she was mates with Demelza's mum, Jenny Lanyon.
Any relation to the Lanyon family?
Well, they must be somehow, but according to Andrew Lanyon, he doesn't know who they are.
Yeah.
But they related to Betsy Lanyon of the Newland School, who is one of the main.
It is a Cornish name, so
Yeah.
it could be it's a distant.
She was a woman who discovered you could make more money standing still with a fish being painted than you could walking around trying to sell it. And you still ended up with a fish. She was in loads of paintings.
Blimey, a lot of coincidences today.
Good old.
Well, I suppose we better get to work.
Yeah, let's go.
It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
God, thanks for the book.
It's a pleasure.
I'll read that one.
You've got one already, haven't you, Paddy?
I haven't actually. No.
Another one.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. You've got good cheeks.
Everything else is fucked.
So we're sitting with Brendan, and we just had a shoot with Chief in his caravan. We had a bit of Irish whiskey, some bad jokes. So what were you telling me, Brendan? About Crowley?
Oh, Aleister Crowley. I started doing a book for Rider Books. They were the major occult imprint in Britain way back in the day. And I was intrigued by all of this because my mum used to see things everywhere, really. Irish family, you see. So I decided to track all these places down. So I spent a lot of time in the British Museum, going through the post office directories. I found various places that Crowley lived, the people from the Golden Dawn lived and all that. And I go around very much like yourself, the 5.4 plate camera, which is this time is an MPP. It's actually a press camera, in fact, you know, a tripod and stuff. And I'd say, knock on the door, I'd say, it's a bit Max Bygraves, can I tell you a story about your house? I think like that. Nobody will understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So I went to a lot of places, and there were lots of coincidences. Crowley lived in Chancery Lane for a start, and I found a flat, which wasn't too hard to find, because in the post office directory, it's all these regular names, and then it says Prince Azov of somewhere.
That was one of his aliases, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. So
Count Sverov was another one, a Russian count.
That's the one, yeah. And so anyway, I found this flat and went up there. And when he was living there with the guy Bennett, not Alan Bennett, bloke who introduced Buddhism to Britain.
Bennett was a follower of Gurdjieff.
That's it. But he also introduced, Thai Buddhism, I think he was, really, into the country.
Or was it Uspensky? I think it was Uspensky.
Right.
Anyway, who was also a follower of Gurdjieff. So
Yeah, Guru Jeff, as I used to call him.
Guru Jeff.
Yeah. He was a great smoker. Remember, the great smoker. He loved Egyptian tobacco, Guru Jeff. But anyway, I got that. And when Crowley was there and Bennett, all the walls were covered in mirrors. And Crowley was feeding this skeleton bits of meat and things that was in a cupboard at the top of the stairs. And all the place, it's just exactly the right place. And I got that. One wall was covered in a mirror. It belonged to some very posh architect who was away. And there were two very beautiful young women who were living there. And I told them the story of that and then took some photos and things. And
So you went to this flat.
yeah, you just go there and tell them the story.
When was this?
This would be in the very early 80s, late 70s.
Right, so Crowley had lived there
He had
in the
many.
30s or 40s.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And where Wyn Westcott lived in Camden had been converted into council flats. I got there and they invited me. People who just invite you straight in. I wouldn't invite anyone with the next three-piece suit on into my home. But anyway, they did. And I told them the story of Wyn Westcott, who started the Golden Dawn. It was a big sort of fringe Masonic thing, really, allowed women in then. And it's where Crowley nicked all the rituals for a start. But in the garden, they showed me Camden Council had only been round the week before, and they'd smashed up this object in the garden, which had melted bricks inside it, and it was patently Westcott's. He writes about it, his alchemical furnace.
Right.
And it had just been smashed up only a couple of weeks earlier. And there was a stone sphinx sat there as well. All the stuff obviously left by Westcott way back in the day. So I was able to tell them all about that. And some Rasta mates of theirs came round, and they fed me lots of whiskey, very similar to that. I was staggering out of there, stoned and pissed, like I think. And of course, you tell them these stories, And this girl goes, "Oh, I knew there was something funny about this place."
Why did you get interested in Crowley?
Well, I was back at school. I was at school when I bought the Book of Thoth in a local bookshop. I mean, Mum was way into Edgar Cayce and all that sort, or Edgar Casey, or Ed Case, as I prefer to call him, really. It's an interesting lad. And she had lots of books like that. And in one of them, it said in the footnote, never read or have anything to do with Aleister Crowley. And I was about 15, 16.
Yeah.
So obviously I went out. And then I found out that Birkenhead Library, which was only 2 buses away, had the biggest collection of Crowley of any library in Britain.
Did they?
Yeah, they did at the time.
That's
Anyway.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. But anyway, so I'd nip out there and pick up some choice literature. So I'd read lots of Crowley by the time I was in the 6th form. And then I went off to do a degree in film at Regent Street Poly, Quinton Hoggs Polytechnic. And yeah, so I did, and then I was making films. There's one about masculinity and revolution in England. It's a comedy called 12 Stone 4, which is, the title's based on a BBC sound effect record of a speak your weight machine. And they got this bloke in to do it at the BBC Radiophonics workshop and put a robot voice in it. But the bloke who does it is obviously Rada, and he's thinking, what's my motivation? And so this voice for the speaker weight machine goes, 12 stone 4. No, they had to use it. It was never in the end film, actually.
So where were these films shown?
Weird little festivals and stuff. They were anarchists. This was a technique the situationists used for making films. So we nicked footage from old gas board movies and things like that.
Oh, brilliant.
And we set up a little thing called Gash Film. You go around Soho.
Gash film.
Yeah. It was actually the term used in the editing studios for the stuff that you leave on the cutting room
Double
floor.
meaning, of course, gash.
There are many meanings, indeed. And we'd pick that up and we'd use that to make the movie. I thought there's a couple I knew, Australian, they did something similar. They got set up a business, taking down sets for other film productions, and that is an actual business you get paid for.
Yeah.
And they took it all back to a barn and made their own films out of whatever sets that they'd picked up. And they made this great film about this Christian kid who'd been rescued by some dingoes. Which is a big...
What do you mean, dogs?
Yeah,
in Australia?
Well, it's an Australian thing, yeah. Dingoes. There was a big news story at the time that the dingoes had nicked this Christian kid. It's a very similar idea, really. So we shot a lot of stuff ourselves. You can still find it on YouTube, I think. 1-2 Stone, number 4.
And what, is just with a handheld camera, was it?
Bolex 16mm.
Right.
And using lots of weird techniques, mostly editing jokes, really, and long exposures.
Yeah.
With a lad by the name of Christopher Saunders, who was living with Tracy Emin for a while.
Really?
Remember Tracy Emin?
Yeah, well, I knew because I knew Billy Childish. Who
Oh,
was,
I never met Billy Childish.
Yeah, I knew Billy.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's interesting.
But she was living with Chris for many years. I'm one of the people who isn't in Sex Tent. Which is one of the reasons she was still talking to me. But I hate I hate fucking hangers on. So I haven't seen her for a very, very long time.
And how did you find her? I mean,
she's just there when I opened the door.
As a person, it's very interesting.
I got pissed with her on gin mostly in the Union Tavern most evenings.
Yeah.
With Chris and her. Chris had previously been living with Sarah Jones, who's teaches photography at the Royal College, or was doing until recently, and then Tracy became head of drawing there, didn't she? So I knew I used to hang out with those lot. Mark, this is just name dropping.
That's okay, you can name drop.
Yeah. Mark Wallinger then. Okay. Yeah. He was lecturing at Goldsmiths already, and I was reading quite a lot of philosophy and stuff at the time. So Foucault, you want to know about Foucault. And we met in the pub opposite the Goldsmiths, it wasn't the Goldsmiths Tavern, it's the Lord Elpers or something on the corner in New Cross. And I was trying to explain fucking Foucault to Wally, and I got up to get a couple of drinks, And reasonably enough, our fella, probably about my age now, he was on crutches, as I was until a few weeks ago. He took a dislike to me. And yeah, I think reasonable, you know, I would as well if actually he saw me being a wank. But anyway, he tried to throw a punch at me. His crutches got in the way, and I just moved back slightly. He was well pissed. He just moved back slightly. He fell over, and he fell on a table of drinks owned by some skinheads.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Not a good move.
No, they just picked him up and threw him out the door in front of a bus. So I had to go back. Yeah. Anyway, Rolly was there. I was an anarchist, so Chris and I.
So this was in the what, the 70s?
Yeah, early 80s, I suppose. Through the
Yeah.
80s for a bit, because I came down here in about 82.
So who were your influences as say, a filmmaker or a philosopher?
Guy Debord, the situationists
Yeah.
in Paris from the 1950s and things like that, really. I did like a bit of Jean-Luc Godard. And also I do like a bit of, Russian stuff like Man with a Movie Camera. And
Yeah.
I saw that in, the first time I saw that was in Notting Hill. Was he Electric in Notting Hill?
Yeah, the Electric.
Yeah. And it was me and about 200 Rastafarians.
Yeah, I used to go there as a kid because we, my dad was a rag and bone man, so we had horses and carts, and the Electric was then called the Flea Pit, I think it was called.
Right.
And next door to it was a pie mash shop, and we used to go there, and you literally would go there and come out covered in lice and everything. Yeah.
Great, fantastic. Yeah, well, I came out stoned out of my fucking mind because there's lots of smoke of weed in there, you know. Sitting in the middle of a big cloud of second-hand smoke. So maybe that's why I like the film so much, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I worked down, I set up a community art project in Deptford, in the Albany Theatre in Deptford, the Albany Empire, which had been burnt down, the original, by the National Front. And so...
I thought you were going to say the National Trust there.
What's the difference?
The National Trust.
And Lewisham Council had rebuilt it as, it's this brand new building, but they put all the same bits into it. So, but some people didn't come back. So there's a dark room in that, and I just done a degree in film. I'm still making films with Chris. It's hanging out at Tracy Evan and all that. And as an anarchist, I managed to get in. I'd helped set up Lewisham Unemployed Action Group. There was mass unemployment, early 80s. And then I knew there was this dark room up there, but no one was using it at all. So I squatted the dark room and the room next door to it as well. And I was my partner, April Hillier.
Good name.
Yeah. She's Wolverhampton. Should have asked Chief, actually. She's a Midlands girl. It's a Wolverhampton girl in this case. And April was great. We got this electric typewriter and we put it in the room. And people had tentatively leaned around the door and saying, "Excuse me, what is it you're doing here?" Well, you need to go and see the manager. He's first down, turn left, turn right, and then in the door on the second on the left. Be more efficient than they are, you see. That's the way to do it. But then people realised we were working for nothing, really. And we set up loads of courses for people in photography. An unwaged course was the first one. Then there's a place around the corner, what we call special needs now. At the time it was called mentally handicapped young adults. And I set up a course for them. Some lads who were trying to come off the heroin, I set up another course for them. They were lovely lads, actually, but I wouldn't let them borrow my cameras because they're not coming back, I think, basically. It's not lacking prejudice. I grew up on a sink estate in Merseyside, and I was surrounded by loan sharks and heroin addicts. They'd set up a whole ecosystem, really. And jump into another story, but it's the Tories got in, basically, and they set up a new ecosystem of prey and prayer, you know, prey and hunter. So you've got your loan sharks there, and then you've got your heroin addicts there, and they were all brought into the same estate. And you know, I was only about 8, and you could see what's going to happen here. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I knew lots of lads on the ship, so that's why I set up the photography course for them, and they came and asked.
So a man of many talents.
Well, not really. It's just photography, really, and talk and shite. So I got a job as a lecturer.
Oh, there we are. Of course you did. Talking bollocks, that's right.
Okay, bollocks. No, I've got a master's in that. An Irish background, you see.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it does help a lot, really.
Well, you've got the gift of the crack.
The grift of the crack.
That's a good one.
The grift of the crap.
That's the name of the book.
The grift of the...
So you got photographed by Paddy recently,
Yeah.
Paddy Shanahan, in the sea in a tweed suit. Is that correct? I think Paddy sent me the photograph.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that because you just thought it was a good look, or are you eccentric? Or?
I grew up by the sea, like partly when I was very young. It was on farm in Ireland, which is like my grandma's place, under an extinct volcano called Slieve Gullion, that figures quite a lot in the Ulster Cattle Wars and things like that. It's going back long time into the day to Cahulan people. So when I was little tiny, then I spent a lot of my time there on our farm. And then we came back to this zinc estate, which was a respectable working class estate when I was 5. It was a few years later they made it as a zinc estate. Everyone had a job. Most people had a job. Not everyone by any means. God, why am I talking about my life, walking history? It's anyway. So that's what formed me, and that was on by the seaside. That was near New Brighton.
Yeah.
The first place I lived was New Brighton. When I was born in the same hospital, in fact, ward as Paul O'Grady in Birkenhead.
Right.
So that explains a lot.
Yeah.
And then
You're funnier than him, by the way.
Very much. Oh, he's a nice lad, actually. My mum used to see him getting on the bus outside the Spiritualist Church in Liverpool, because they'd get the same bus together. And her mate, Peggy Hayes, who was also always worked for the diplomatic corps, Peggy, and she...
It's funny, now that you're talking about Liverpool, you slipped into like
Scouse
accent.
Well, one of the things that happened, my cousin Barbara had a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and when I was about 5, I heard my own voice, which is like... Hey, fucking like, you know, what is that, like? I was so horrified.
Sound like Cilla Black there. Cilla Black crossed with Ken Dodd.
Plastic scouser. I'm from Birkenhead, we're all plastic scousers.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were in Chief's Caravan, we were talking about Ireland, you were kind of slipping into the Irish, bro.
Well, I can't help myself, It always looks like I'm taking the piss. I don't do Cornish, though.
I always think Scousers, everything they say sounds like they're taking the piss, doesn't it?
Quite often they are.
Which is quite amusing.
Actually, my schoolmates used to come into. I used to go to a club called Eric's in Liverpool and see all the punk bands, so Susie and the Banshees. What's his name? John Cooper Clarke used to lead on stage in the middle.
I knew his girlfriend,
And he'd do a few numbers. But after I got pissed, I'd start sounding really posh.
Yeah.
Because it's
normally the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah. But my mate Steve Dodding commented on it a few times. What happened to you? I said, I don't know. Turned into Angela Rippon.
Angela Rippon.
Yeah.
It's a name to conjure with, isn't it? Good legs.
Curse of the Rippon. I'm thinking more Ripper, really. So that's why I'm like that. And also, if it's like that, then it'd been hard work.
And yet you managed to become a lecturer in the art establishment.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You're a bête noire?
Well, I'm an old anarchist, as I say, but so I hated a lot of that. But my idea is, if you're going to change society, I think we need to change society in a big, big way.
Yeah, from within.
To the point of revolution. And the only way you can get a state of mind that's anything like revolution is by engendering, in creating the way in which you can think in different ways. Otherwise, you just end up with a revolution in name only, like the Bolshevik Revolution in many respects, actually.
Yeah, which was controlled by the British deep state.
Well, I wouldn't
Came out of LSE, but you won't go into that.
Yeah. But, so you need to have the capacity to change your thought, and that's one of the few things that art can do, really. Unless it becomes part of the art market, and then it's fucked.
Yeah.
So that's that's my problem with that. So I was a thorn in the management side, teaching situationist stuff and anarchist stuff.
Did they often pull you up on stuff? And
They tried to, but then I knew more than them
That
about
helps, doesn't it?
what I was talking about, obviously. So and it is a legitimate, strain of art history, really.
yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
What I mean, thinking about Tracy Emin and the other YBSs, how do you, because they have become part of the establishment and have been bought by major art institutions and Saatchi, etc., etc. How do you feel about those former friends of yours having kind of gone to the other side, as it were? Or were they like that
I think
all
they were
along?
like that all along, really. I think Tracy always wanted to be rich and famous.
Right.
When she got really pissed, I mean, if she watches this, she can pick me up on it, but she'd talk about, I think it was their granddad or a great-granddad or something who jumped ship as a slave in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, the Turk, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he swam to Cyprus.
Yeah,
And it was Turkish Cyprus, wasn't it?
that's right.
And she became very emotional about that, and she didn't ever want to be that. And the way she was brought up in Maidstone and all that, she definitely wanted to be rich and wanted to be famous. Now, I don't have any problem with people wanting to be rich and wanting to be famous. So that's fine. I just never, I never did, and I've been really successful at that.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Shot a lot of people on your way to the bottom.
Yeah. Well, there's no problem with coming back up, is there? It's not my time of life. And stay there at the bottom and enjoy it. Looking
Exactly.
at the stars.
Exactly. We spent the afternoon in a caravan.
Yeah. Well, I've only just moved out of a caravan to a council flat. So yeah. But a council flat is my natural habitat, really. That's what I grew up in.
Yeah. When we came here to Bob's place, you mentioned the last time you were here was 30 years ago.
Thereabouts, anyway. Yeah.
What was the circumstances that brought you here then?
Denny owned the place, and she was mates massively with my wife, who, when we became my wife, I think we were married at the time, and I knew her quite well as well. She'd organised shows like Hell in High Water was a good one. I was saying earlier, Nicky said to Denny, what's his name now? Richard
Long.
Richard Long, and she goes, I don't know, he's out tidying up the planet somewhere. And we went and had dinner with them in Bristol as well, and ended up on a rap boat on Avon, which is another weird weekend that was, with Richard Long, drinking piss, hugely expensive prices, in a rap boat. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
Well, very interesting. Thank you, Brendan.
It's a pleasure.
Sharing
I've got many other stories.
Your life stories.
Very
And,
much.
be lucky.
Thank you very much, man. Take me hat off.
You can doff the cap, thank you.
Yeah, actually, I can turn it around and it's got
Go on, turn it
the
around.
rest of the
Turn it
stuff
around.
on the
You've
back.
got to remember not taken there.
As well, yeah. There you go. I want 30%.
There's a long story.